wild, the loudest creatures don't survive. They become prey. The ones that thrive are the ones you never see coming. No growl, no warning, just a sudden silence. Then nothing. These are nature's quietest assassins. Ghosts in the underbrush, shadows in the water, eyes in the trees that never blink. They don't need to chase. They don't even need to fight. Because by the time their victims realize what's happening, it's already too late. Today, we step into the realm of the unseen, where killers don't just survive, they vanish. High above the world, where the air thins and the wind howls like a haunting lullaby, a phantom stalks the frozen silence. It leaves no footprints, no sounds, only fear whispered among the Himalayan cliffs. Locals don't speak its name at night, for to do so is to summon it. The snow leopard, the ghost of the mountains. This isn't just a predator. It's a wraith made of muscle and ice, cloaked in pale rosettes that melt into stone and snow. With a body length of nearly 5 feet and a thick, fluffy tail as long as its torso, the snow leopard isn't just built to survive the brutal cold. It's designed to kill in silence. Weighing between 60 and 120 pounds, it's not the largest big cat. But don't be fooled. What it lacks in bulk, it makes up for in terrifying precision. Its paws, broad and fur-lined like natural snowshoes, allow it to pad across frozen terrain without a whisper. Its spine is flexible, its limbs powerful, allowing it to leap nearly 50 feet in a single bound, across cliffs, into trees, or straight onto the neck of an unsuspecting prey. Its targets? Blue sheep, Himalayan ibex. Sometimes even yak calves. Creatures built for mountain life themselves, fast, sure-footed, alert. But none of that matters when the snow leopard is hunting. It won't chase, it won't roar. It simply appears, gliding across boulders and ridges, then vanishing again, always one step closer. When it strikes, it's not with noise or flash, but with ruthless efficiency. A single bite to the neck, a twist of the spine, and the struggle ends almost before it begins. The snow leopard doesn't need backup. It doesn't rely on speed or overwhelming strength. It is solitude incarnate, an apex killer in one of the most unforgiving landscapes on Earth. And its greatest weapon? Silence. Scientists and filmmakers who attempt to track it sometimes go months without even catching a glimpse. Infrared cameras trigger at night only to capture a blur, a tail disappearing into mist. It is the embodiment of stealth, the master of ambush, a ghost with claws. And yet, despite its deadliness, the snow leopard walks a fragile line. As elusive as it is lethal, it's estimated that fewer than 7,000 remain in the wild, vanishing not just from sight, but from existence. But make no mistake, if you find yourself in its territory, deep in the lonely spires of the Himalayas, you will not hear it. You will not see it. You'll only feel the sudden weight, the crushing force, and the final silence. The snow leopard is not just a hunter. It is the mountain's breath. Cold, quiet, deadly. Beneath the frozen blue ceiling of the Antarctic, silence isn't peaceful. It's predatory. A stillness that masks something far more sinister. Glide just beneath the surface, and you'll enter a kingdom ruled not by sharks or killer whales, but by something far more chilling. A long, torpedo-shaped shadow, with a grin that lies. This is the leopard seal. Its name sounds almost delicate, elegant even. But don't let that fool you. This isn't some playful sea puppy. This is a predator engineered by ice and blood. It moves like a ghost, lurking under the glassy surface, watching, waiting. A streamlined killer, nearly 12 feet long, weighing over 1,000 pounds, built not just for speed, but for brutality. Its body is smooth and stealthy, with no splash, no wake, no warning, just the faint ripple of death coming. And then there's the mouth. Those curved yellow teeth designed to grip, rip, and tear. But that's not the scariest part. It's the smile. A fixed, permanent curl of the lips, almost cheerful. It's the look of death that doesn't care if you scream, because underwater, you can't. The leopard seal's favorite meal? Penguins. You've seen them on documentaries, waddling, diving, swimming joyfully through the icy water. But to the leopard seal, they're not birds, they're targets. And once locked in, escape is impossible. The seal surges upward from below, silent as shadow, then grabs its prey mid-swim. There's no dramatic thrashing, just a single, brutal grip. Sometimes, it even slams the penguin against the ice repeatedly to strip the flesh from bone. Efficient, merciless, silent. But this predator doesn't stop at birds. It has been known to take down other seals, sometimes its own kind. Even divers have told tales of unnerving encounters, stalked by an animal that watches from the blue, following with eyes too intelligent, too patient. And when it closes in, it doesn't lunge, it glides. Because the leopard seal doesn't chase, it claims. Here, under the ice, it doesn't need sound. It doesn't roar. It doesn't scream. Its presence alone is enough to paralyze. The silence is the weapon. Even the apex predators of the sea give it space. Great whites stick to warmer waters. Orcas might take a leopard seal if they find one, but only in numbers. Alone. No one dares challenge the smiling assassin. There is no colder killer, no quieter executioner, just teeth, ice, and a mouthful of lies. It doesn't look like a killer. It doesn't even move like one. No claws, no fangs, no speed. Just a pretty little seashell lying quietly in the sand. But make no mistake, this is one of the deadliest creatures on Earth. A venomous sniper hidden beneath a shell that could fit in the palm of your hand. Meet the cone snail. Slow, silent, lethal. Found in warm, shallow waters, from the Indo-Pacific to the Caribbean, these creatures look like art, painted shells in swirls of brown, cream, and gold. But under that shell lies a weapon so advanced it puts most apex predators to shame. The cone snail doesn't chase, it doesn't roar, it waits. And when something wanders too close, a fish, a worm, even a curious human, it strikes. But this isn't a bite, it's not a sting, it's a harpoon. Hidden in its mouth is a long, hollow, barbed tooth, a dart made of chitin, razor-sharp and loaded with venom. And that dart shoots out with terrifying speed, piercing skin and pumping in a toxic cocktail so complex scientists still haven't mapped all of its components. Some cone snails can deliver a dose strong enough to kill 20 humans in minutes. What's more horrifying? You won't even feel it. Just a pinch, maybe nothing at all. Then the numbness spreads. The muscles shut down. Paralysis creeps in, and if the venom is strong enough, your lungs stop moving. You suffocate, silently. No blood, no thrashing, no second chances. Even more terrifying, there's no anti-venom. Fishes don't stand a chance. In a blink, they're speared and dragged into the snail's mouth, swallowed whole, while still twitching. Humans who step on them by accident may not even realize they've been hit, until it's too late. And the snail? It doesn't flee. It just sinks into the sand, disappears beneath the surface, waiting to strike again. The cone snail is proof that size means nothing in the wild, that the smallest things can be the most terrifying, that the quietest assassins don't need claws or teeth. They just need patience and precision. On a beach full of seashells, one wrong step can mean your last breath. No warning, no sound, just silence, and then the sting of death. It doesn't swim, it doesn't chase, it doesn't even move. And that's exactly what makes it so terrifying. Lying motionless on the seafloor like a crumpled, algae-covered rock, the stonefish is the ocean's most venomous ambush predator. Its body is misshapen and grotesque, colored in blotches of brown, gray, and moss green, perfectly blending in with the coral rubble and sand. To the untrained eye, it's nothing more than an ugly rock, but to those who know better, it's a living landmine waiting to detonate. The stonefish doesn't hunt with sight or sound. It doesn't stalk. It lures. And the moment an unsuspecting fish swims too close, snap, its mouth erupts open faster than you can blink. Literally. In just 0.015 seconds, its cavernous jaws create a vacuum, sucking the victim straight in. No struggle, no escape, just instant oblivion. But what makes the stonefish truly horrifying isn't how it kills its prey. It's what happens when something steps on it. Spanning just over a foot in length, the stonefish's back is lined with 13 venomous spines, each one ready to pierce straight through a human foot. And when they do, they inject a venom so potent it causes unbearable pain, swelling, paralysis, and in extreme cases, death. The venom attacks the heart, nervous system, and cellular structure all at once. Victims have described the agony as worse than childbirth or gunshot wounds. Some even begged for their legs to be amputated. And all of this, without the fish even moving. There's no roar here, no warning rattle or flash of color, just stillness, then pain, then silence again. What makes this killer even more bone-chilling is that its venom doesn't just defend, it teaches. Stonefish live in tidal zones, places where beachgoers and divers are most likely to walk. Step on one barefoot, and the body reacts violently within minutes. Muscles convulse, breath shortens, blood pressure crashes. And the fish? It doesn't care. It stays right there, unmoving, waiting for the next victim. This is not a hunter in the traditional sense. It doesn't roam the reef. It is the reef, a piece of the world twisted into a trap. And unless you know exactly what to look for, you'll never see it. Until your skin is pierced, until your body fails you, until it's too late. Because when it comes to silent killers, sometimes the most dangerous one is the one that never moves at all. The night thickens, the jungle holds its breath, and somewhere in the undergrowth, something stirs, but not with a growl, not with a snarl. No sound at all, just the almost imperceptible brush of hairy legs gliding over the forest floor. This is the tarantula, eight-legged, eight-eyed, and entirely unwelcome in your nightmares. It doesn't roar or charge, it creeps, a velvet phantom in the dark, cloaked in bristles and ancient instinct. Tarantulas are among the largest spiders on Earth, with some species reaching up to 12 inches across, leg to leg. They're covered in thick, sensitive hairs that pick up vibrations from the ground and air. That's how they see the world. Not through eyes, but through tremors, through silence. In the dark, they wait. Their burrows are camouflaged with silk and soil, woven into nature like traps set by some ancient weaver. When the moment comes, when a cricket stumbles too close, or a rodent steps near the edge of its lair, the tarantula doesn't lunge. It flows, smooth, calm, deadly. One strike. Fangs the size of tiger claws sink in, not to tear, but to inject. And what enters the prey isn't just venom, it's liquefaction. The tarantula's venom is a gruesome blend of neurotoxins and digestive enzymes. It paralyzes the prey within seconds, then begins to dissolve it from the inside out. Flesh turns to soup while the spider waits, still and patient, before calmly sucking the liquefied remains like some macabre milkshake. And yet, despite their monstrous appearance, tarantulas don't attack with rage. They don't charge unless provoked. They don't need to. Their true power lies in stillness. Some species even possess urticating hairs, barbed bristles on their abdomen that they can kick into the air as a last resort. Not flashy, not loud, but enough to blind or irritate attackers. Even their defense is quiet, efficient. Humans, of course, tend to fear them irrationally. But a tarantula isn't interested in us. We're too big to eat. It just wants to be left alone, to exist in silence and shadows, where it has ruled for millions of years. But that doesn't change the facts. This creature is a nightmare wrapped in velvet, an executioner with 8 legs and 2-inch-long needles for teeth. And if you're the right size, you'll never hear it coming. Because fear doesn't always come from sound. Sometimes it creeps. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes, it's already crawling up your leg. The water is still. Not a ripple. Not a sound. Just murky brown silence. And that's exactly how it likes it. Hidden beneath the surface is one of nature's oldest predators, a creature that has survived mass extinctions, outlived the dinosaurs, and still reigns supreme across rivers, swamps, and coastal shorelines from India to northern Australia. The saltwater crocodile. It doesn't roar across the plains. It doesn't run through the jungle. It waits, beneath the water, motionless, watching. At over 20 feet long and weighing more than 2,000 pounds, the saltwater crocodile is the largest living reptile on Earth. It has the strongest bite force of any animal ever recorded, over 3,700 pounds per square inch, enough to crush bone, snap limbs, and obliterate whatever dares fall within its jaws. But it doesn't use its strength recklessly. This is a creature of patience, strategy, silence. A crocodile can stay submerged for up to 2 hours without surfacing for air. It drifts like a log, often mistaken for debris. Its eyes and nostrils remain just above the waterline, perfectly designed for surveillance. And when a pig, bird, or human comes close to drink, when the moment is perfect, it strikes with blinding speed. No growl, no hiss, just a violent eruption of water and muscle. The prey is yanked into the depths in seconds. But that's only the beginning. Once caught, the saltwater croc doesn't chew. It performs the death roll, a spinning, thrashing, bone-breaking maneuver designed to tear flesh from bone, drown the victim, and dismember it into manageable chunks. It's not flashy, it's not loud, it's surgical, efficient, brutal. Even on land, this monster is no less terrifying. It can launch its massive frame out of the water and sprint short bursts up to 10 miles per hour, fast enough to catch prey completely off guard. But it prefers not to. Why waste energy when the river does the killing for you? What makes the saltwater crocodile truly frightening is its intelligence. It learns, remembers, observes human behavior. In regions like the Northern Territory, there are recorded cases of crocs watching where fishermen regularly clean their catches, only to return days later, knowing exactly when to strike. It doesn't need noise, it doesn't warn you, it doesn't chase, it waits. It is death with scales, the ghost of the riverbank, the ancient whisper of the water. You'll never hear it coming. You'll never see it leave. It arrives in silence and disappears the same way, dragging its prey into a muddy grave. And when the water goes still again, you're left wondering, was it ever there at all? The jungle doesn't make a sound. Not a bird. Not a breeze. Just the heavy silence that falls when something lethal is nearby. Something watching. You won't see it. You won't hear it. But it's there. Draped over a branch like a patch of shade. Coiled muscle hidden beneath golden fur. The leopard, elegant, silent, unseen. Unlike its lion cousins that rely on brute force and bellowing roars, the leopard is the master of stealth. Built for solitary ambush, it's one of the most adaptable predators on Earth, found in the steamy rainforests of the Congo, the dry savannas of East Africa, the icy reaches of northern China, even the urban edges of Indian villages. And wherever it goes, it brings death in silence. It walks like smoke, low to the ground, not a twig disturbed beneath its padded paws. Its rosette-covered coat breaks up its outline, blending it into dappled light and foliage. It doesn't need a pack. It doesn't need help. It is a one-beast killing machine. At roughly 6 feet long and weighing up to 200 pounds, the leopard isn't the biggest big cat, but it's arguably the deadliest. Why? Because no one sees it coming. It stalks in silence, closes the distance in shadows, and when it's ready, boom! A lightning-fast pounce and a suffocating bite straight to the throat or skull. But it doesn't end there. While other predators might feed out in the open, risking confrontation, the leopard drags its kill, no matter the weight, up into the trees. A full-grown antelope, a struggling baboon, even prey twice its size. Hoisted high above the ground, it feeds in peace, the corpse swinging silently like a grim trophy from the branches. It doesn't roar for dominance, it doesn't parade its power. The leopard kills, consumes, vanishes. It's so quiet. Even humans living near leopard territory often have no idea one is around. Children go missing, goats disappear, and only later do villagers find drag marks in the dirt or blood dripping from the treetops. And when it feels threatened, it doesn't posture or growl. It melts into the forest, becomes shadow again, almost impossible to track, almost impossible to trap. The leopard doesn't need an audience. It doesn't crave attention. It operates like a ghost, present but unseen, felt but not heard. It is stealth incarnate, a predator whose most terrifying weapon isn't its teeth or its claws. It's the silence before it strikes. The rainforest is thick, claustrophobic, every inch teeming with life. Monkeys chatter high in the canopy. Frogs croak from dripping leaves. Insects buzz like a living hum. But suddenly, it all goes still. Something is moving. No growl, no rustle. Just the subtle shift of something heavy yet silent slicing through the green. Something that doesn't chase. It waits. And then it strikes. The jaguar, shorter and stockier than its African cousins, but pound for pound, the most powerful cat on Earth. A creature built not for speed, but for silence and strength. At around 250 pounds, with a compact, muscular frame and jaws that can crack bone like brittle twigs, the jaguar is a creature forged by the chaos of the jungle and perfected by patience. It doesn't roar before it pounces. It doesn't make a scene. In fact, the jaguar is almost unnaturally quiet. Its padded paws make no sound as it glides over fallen leaves, mud, and underbrush. It can stalk prey for hours without making a noise. And when it finally closes in, there's no warning, no chance to run. Unlike other big cats that go for the throat, the jaguar goes straight for the skull. That's right, the skull. With jaws that generate over 1,500 psi of force, it sinks its canines right between the ears and crushes the brain case in one bite. No struggle, no mess, just instant death. It doesn't matter what the prey is, capybara, caiman, anaconda. The jaguar takes them all. It even hunts underwater, slipping into rivers with barely a ripple and snatching up turtles or fish before returning to shore without a sound. No splash, no drama, just precision. What makes the jaguar even more terrifying is that you'll never know it's there. It lives in some of the most densely vegetated places on Earth, where visibility drops to just a few feet. But even in that claustrophobic world, the jaguar is invisible. It watches, it listens, and when the time is right, it becomes death on four legs. And then it disappears. This is not a predator that needs to fight for dominance. It doesn't need to assert control with noise or intimidation. It rules the jungle by fear and silence alone. Even among indigenous tribes, the jaguar is seen as a spirit of the forest. Not just an animal, but a phantom, a shadow that walks in flesh and fur. It's not just a killer. It's a whisper of death, wrapped in golden rosettes, moving through the vines like a myth come to life. And if you ever feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up in the jungle, if you feel like something is watching you, but you can't see it and you can't hear it, you're not wrong. You're just already too late. The forest floor is layered in fallen leaves, rotting wood, and silence. A footstep here would sound like a cannon. But not for this killer. Not for the master of stillness. Because it's already there, beneath the brush, beneath your feet, beneath your fate. You just don't know it yet. This is the gaboon viper, the snake with the longest fangs of any venomous serpent on Earth, nearly 2 inches long, sharp as needles. And it doesn't hiss. It doesn't slither with haste. It doesn't need to. It waits. Blending perfectly into the forest debris, the gaboon viper is almost indistinguishable from its surroundings. Its body is patterned like dead leaves, earth tones and jagged shapes that break up its outline. Motionless, it becomes part of the floor. It could be lying there for hours, days even, And then, something stirs. A rodent, a bird, a monkey. They don't even sense the danger. They step too close. Just one wrong move, and then snap. No buildup, no chase. Just a blur of motion. A single, lightning-fast strike. And just like that, we arrive at the apex of silent death. Midnight. The fields are bathed in silver moonlight. The wind has stilled. The earth is quiet. But something stirs above. A flicker. A phantom. A pale shape gliding through the darkness without a whisper of wind. No flapping. No rustling. No warning. Just silence. Pure, absolute silence. This is the barn owl, and it is the most silent killer in the entire animal kingdom. At first glance, the barn owl doesn't strike terror. Its heart-shaped face and white gold feathers give it an almost ethereal beauty, something you might see in a dream. But to a rodent in the field below, it's the last thing it will never hear. Weighing less than 1.5 pounds, and with a wingspan of up to 3.5 feet, the barn owl is built for precision and ghost-like efficiency. Its feathers are specially designed with microscopic velvety structures that disrupt airflow and eliminate sound. While other birds create turbulence when they fly, barn owls slip through the night like air itself. They don't fly through silence, they are silence. But it's not just their wings that make them deadly. The barn owl's facial disc, those eerie, hollow eyes set in a mask-like face, acts like a satellite dish, funneling even the faintest sounds toward their ears. Their asymmetrical ear placement allows them to triangulate the exact position of prey in total darkness. A mouse rustling under snow, a vole breathing beneath leaves. They hear everything. Everything. And when they strike, it's over in an instant. The owl drops from the sky like a blade, talons first. A perfect freefall with pinpoint accuracy. The prey doesn't even react. By the time it realizes something's coming, it's already in the air, limp in the owl's grip. No cry, no scuffle, just vanishing. Even their digestion is efficient. Barn owls consume their victims whole, bones, fur, and all, later coughing up tidy pellets as if nothing ever happened. No trace, no waste. They are silent executioners in the night sky, capable of hunting dozens of times a night with deadly consistency. And they do it all without a sound. Not because they can't make one, but because they choose not to. In folklore, barn owls have always been omens of death, messengers from the other side. And maybe, in a way, those old stories were right. Because when this ghostly hunter takes to the sky, it doesn't chase, it doesn't scream, it glides, it listens, and then it kills. So the next time you find yourself walking alone under the stars, and the wind dies down, and the silence becomes too quiet, you might look up, but you won't see it. And you definitely won't hear it. Because when death wears feathers and flies without sound, it's already too late. They don't roar. They don't growl. They don't need the thunder of hooves or the fanfare of a lion's charge. These are the assassins of nature. The killers you never see. The predators you never hear. They don't announce death. They deliver it. Quietly. From the silent wings of the barn, owls slicing through moonlit skies, to the crushing jaws of a jaguar vanishing back into jungle shadow, one truth becomes chillingly clear. In the animal kingdom, it's not always the loudest that are the deadliest. Sometimes the real danger wears silence like armor. So the next time you're out in the wild and you feel the world go still, no rustle, no chirp, no sound at all, be warned. You're not alone. You're being watched. And the most terrifying part? You won't hear it coming.